Hi, it's Katrina. Number 10. Fire under Antarctica. 85,000 earthquakes recently shook Antarctica during the strongest seismic outburst ever recorded on the continent. These minor earthquakes were likely triggered by a newly uncovered underwater volcano. The volcano has been dormant for a very long time, but woke up in late summer 2020. With its awakening, the tremors started. The swarm of earthquakes continued for nearly 2 years. Researchers believe they were likely caused by hot magma that leaked out of the volcano and seared its way into the Earth's crust. Seismologist Simone Seska said similar things have been witnessed at other places on the planet, but never before in Antarctica. Simone went on to say that normally such a thing would happen over a long geological timescale. We're talking way longer than the human lifespan. But here, there were tens of thousands of minor tremors in just 2 years, and all because of magma leaking underneath the surface of the ocean. The earthquakes occurred all around the Orca Seamount, which is the name of the previously inactive volcano. Its peak rises roughly 3,000 feet from the sea floor near the northwestern tip of Antarctica. Beneath the water here, the Phoenix tectonic plate is slowly digging underneath the Antarctic plate, creating open rifts, potential valleys of magma, and physically stretching parts of the crust. While we don't seem to be in any danger now, that could all change in the future, and rather unexpectedly. Number 9. The mystery structure in space. Experts have identified what they are calling a large-scale structure somewhere behind the Milky Way. Scientists working at Argentina's National University of San Juan were behind the discovery. Although, just to be clear, they don't believe it's a gigantic artificial object like an intergalactic spaceship. Instead, it's a newly discovered galaxy cluster. Even more mysterious is the fact that astronomers detected the structure in an uncharted region of space. This is far beyond the center of the Milky Way in a phantom region called the Zone of Avoidance. It's a dark spot on our universal map with roughly 20% of the night sky in it. The reason scientists have had such a hard time scanning the zone is that there is a gigantic bulge in the center of our galaxy, making it challenging to see. It's also quite difficult to look through the cosmic fog of the universe at objects billions of light years away. Yet despite these difficulties, the scientists were able to use all the latest technology to identify the structure. They used infrared radiation to see a massive cluster of galaxies roughly 3 billion light-years from us. The galaxies are drawn together by a monstrous center of gravity, little more than pinpricks of light at the edge of a telescope. Number 8. Pyramid of the Unknown Queen. Archaeologists in Egypt just made the discovery of the year. In the Saqqara necropolis, about 20 miles from Giza, they unearthed the pyramid of an unknown ancient queen. They also found a small stash of coffins, new mummies, a hoard of artifacts, and a series of dark underground tunnels. They believe the coffins and mummies belonged to the generals and advisors of King Tut before the boy pharaoh's death in 1323 BC. Their excavations were focused near the Pyramid of Teti, the first king of the 6th dynasty. During the New Kingdom, between the 6th century BC to the 11th century BC, Teti was worshipped as a god, and for this reason, people wanted to be buried near his pyramid. Researchers uncovered the shaft where hundreds upon hundreds of sarcophagi had been buried just so the dead could be within close proximity to Teti. Egyptologist Zahi Hawass says he and his team uncovered 300 beautiful coffins over the past 2 years, each one totally unique. The coffins each have individual faces painted on the exterior of their sarcophagus, and each sarcophagus is decorated with scenes from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Then there's the Pyramid of the Unknown Queen. Researchers uncovered fragments of the pyramid, relatively small by Egyptian standards, but don't know who it was made for. They believe the queen's name was Neith, and yet she appears in no historical records. This discovery could change history. And now for number 7. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Jeff Forrams and Marius Jacobus Van Zyl. Thanks so much for watching and supporting Origins Explained. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join the family. We'd love to have you. Number 7. The origin of flowers. Flowers have not been around forever. Up until now, flowers were believed to have evolved only 130 million years ago, not long before the end of the dinosaurs. This was because no fossil evidence was ever found of older flowers. By flowers, I mean any flowering plant. This was not a thing that existed throughout the entire life of our planet, at least not until about 174 million years ago. Scientists have just discovered a new fossilized flower that pushes the birth of these plants back a whopping 50 million years. A team of researchers in China studied 264 specimens of flower fossils preserved in rock slabs discovered at the South Jiangshan Formation. One of the flowers, named Nanjinganthus dendrostela, was found to be significantly older than any other. Researchers believe this may have been the flower that gave rise to all later species of flowers. Or it may have been a failed flowering plant that hit an evolutionary dead end and went extinct. Either way, this has been a major discovery for both botanists and scientists all over the world. Number 6. The oldest sign of life. Researchers believe they may have just discovered some of the earliest life on the planet layered in rocks in Western Australia. This life comes in the form of fossils, but not fossils of dinosaurs, prehistoric monsters, or early sea creatures. Instead, the fossils are called stromatolites, made by the excretions of photosynthetic microbes. These excretions are left over in layers of rock from 3.43 billion years ago. Even older ones have been found in Australia's Dresser Formation from 3.48 billion years ago. The issue with these fossils has always been that after billions of years, all traces of organic matter have vanished. All we have left are the layers in the rock. There's never been a concrete way to say if the fossils were left behind by real microbes or some unknown geological process. But according to Kieran Hickman-Lewis with the Natural History Museum in London, the stromatolites are definitely the result of biological processes. Putting aside all the scientific mumbo-jumbo, what we have here is confirmed proof of photosynthesis billions of years before the first complex life forms. Researchers believe the microbes likely formed in shallow lagoons that were fed by hydrothermal vents in the ocean. The mixture of heat and water led to an almost magical inception of life, which then used photosynthesis to grow. The excretion of these microscopic organisms is what we see in the fossil record. In simpler terms, it's plant poop. Number 5. A forgotten extinction. Scientists have just discovered evidence that points to a previously unknown mass extinction event in our planet's ancient past. It happened about 550 million years ago, making it the first known massive extinction. It was at the height of what scientists call the Ediacaran period, when life in the oceans was just beginning to flourish. Tiny creatures called petalonamids, shaped like aquatic feathers, sucked nutrients from the water, and the first ancestors of jellyfish were just starting to evolve. Then, without any warning, 80% of all life vanished, and not a single trace was left behind in the fossil record. Researchers from Virginia Tech recently identified a dramatic decline in global oxygen levels that likely led to the first mass extinction event. It may very well have been the first climate change catastrophe that led to an unbelievable loss of life. Scientists reached this conclusion by looking at animals that lived before 550 million years ago and animals that were still around 10 million years later. They were shocked to see that the only animals still surviving were ones better suited to low oxygen conditions. This observation led to the deduction that something mysterious happened, crashing oxygen levels and essentially suffocating 80% of life to death. Any creature that couldn't cope with low oxygen was efficiently removed from the ecosystem. Number 4. Byzantine Business District. Archaeologists in Turkey recently made a sensational find in the ancient Greek city of Ephesus. This city is something of a mystery because it was destroyed unexpectedly around 614 AD. In the ruins of this forgotten city, researchers uncovered a shockingly well-preserved Byzantine business district. Scientists with the Austrian Academy of Sciences uncovered household items preserved in rooms underneath a thick layer of burned material. They also found hundreds of copper coins, preserved salted mackerels, scraps of ceramic, and bowls with the remains of meals in them. This was all in Domitian Square, what was once a prominent location near the political center of the city in Roman times. Archaeologists also found shops, workshops, and other preserved structures from late antiquity. This was after the Roman imperial period, following the destruction of Ephesus in 263 AD by the Goths. After the Goths left and Rome had lost its power, the original city center, which had been a huge and luxurious square, was built over with shops and turned into a business district. Then, in 614 AD, the city was utterly destroyed by an earthquake. Number 3. Super-Earth. Scientists have just discovered an unbelievable planet. Astronomers identified planet TOI 1075 using the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS. It appears to be one of the most massive super-Earths ever. The planet is a shocking 10 times larger than Earth. It orbits a tiny star roughly 200 light-years away from us, and it rotates around that star once every 14.5 hours. Instead of 365 days in a year, this gigantic planet only has 14.5 hours, less hours than our average day. Because its orbit is so brief, the planet is ridiculously hot. It may be huge, but it's sitting at an estimated daily temperature of 1,922 degrees Fahrenheit. The term super-Earth is given to any planet that's at least twice as large as our own. We don't have any in our own solar system, but they are common throughout the galaxy. Most of them are rocky planets just like Earth, hiding in the habitable zone of their star and potentially crawling with life. It's doubtful anything's alive on the planet. Its surface is almost certainly molten lava, but many other super-Earths could have life on them. Fun fact, in the case of TOI 1075, it is so big there is significantly more gravity on its surface, making you about 3 times heavier than you are right now. Number 2. The oldest written sentence. Scientists recently identified an ancient inscription. This inscription appears to be the oldest sentence ever written in the first alphabet ever created. It's a monumental discovery in human linguistics, and it's also incredibly strange. Let's start at the beginning. The inscription was uncovered on an ancient ivory comb. It was found at the site of Tel Lachish, an ancient Canaanite city in central Israel. While archaeologists were inspecting the comb, they found 17 small letters. Together, the markings form 7 words which translate to, "May this tusk root out the lice of the hair of the beard." In other words, let this comb get rid of your disgusting beard lice. We now have the oldest inscribed sentence put together using Canaanite script, which relied on the Phoenician alphabet and which used the same characters that would eventually morph into the English alphabet. For that matter, these ancient characters would become the foundation for Arabic, Greek, Hebrew, Latin, and Russian. Keep in mind that the foundation for modern Chinese writing goes back much further to about 5,000 years ago. But it's not considered the same because these symbols don't create phonetics in the same way. As exciting of a discovery as this is, it's still weird. The ancient preserved sentence is a few lines talking about beard lice. Number 1. The missing link. The Hylobatids family of apes includes roughly 20 living species of gibbons found throughout tropical Asia. Fossils from these types of ancient apes are exceptionally rare, with not too many being found. Most ancient gibbon specimens come in the form of teeth and jaw bones uncovered in caves throughout China and Southeast Asia. The oldest go back about 2 million years. But according to Professor of Anthropology Terry Harrison with New York University, a much older fossil has just been found, dating back about 7 million years. The fossil was found in the Yunnan province of China. It belongs to a tiny ancient ape named something like Yuanmopithecus xiaoyuan. What's interesting is that it doesn't appear to have been very different from modern gibbons. It was about the same size, same weight, and was only slightly more primitive. You might be wondering what all this has to do with the missing link. Genetic studies have shown that the Hylobatids family of apes diverged from one common lineage about 17 million years ago. This was at the same time that the same lineage split into other branches, with one branch leading to great apes and the other branch leading to human beings. But there is still an incredibly important gap of 10 million years. That's the time between our split from the common animal that links us to great apes and gibbons. Those 10 million years are critical in understanding how we evolved separately from apes, and yet the fossil record is still totally dry. Our missing link is still missing. What we do see from this newly discovered gibbons fossil is that not much changed over 7 million years. That means not much likely changed for humans over the same period. But without the missing link, we still don't have a clear picture of our distant past. Thanks for watching! Which of these recent discoveries did you find the most exciting? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you soon! Bye!